Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Have you ever experienced this feeling? One evening, you are scrolling through the web and accidentally stumble upon an inspiring video. Your heart beats faster, your mind is overflowing with ideas, and you feel, tomorrow, I will change everything. You write down a series of plans, wake up early to exercise, learn a new skill, eat healthily, start that project you've been nurturing for so long. You feel like you are at the peak of determination. Then, the next morning, the alarm rings, but instead of jumping up, you reach out and turn it off. I can start tomorrow. And just like that, the motivation vanishes as quickly as it appeared. All that remains is a sense of disappointment in yourself. We often believe that to start doing something, we need motivation, but the truth is, motivation is not as reliable as you think. It comes and goes like waves. And if you only rely on motivation, you will be swept away at any moment. So, what actually helps you persevere? The answer is self-discipline, and even deeper than that, commitment. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to live strictly or miserably. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. Commitment is an unbreakable promise to yourself that you will keep moving forward, regardless of how you feel that day. In this podcast, we will explore the true power of discipline and commitment together, the things that will take you further than any fleeting motivation ever could. Chapter 1: The Truth About Motivation. Why can't it save you forever? When we think of motivation, most of us immediately picture a powerful surge of energy rushing into our bodies. It's like you just drank a super strong cup of coffee, your heart beats faster, your mind is clearer, and everything seems possible. You may have experienced that moment. Listening to a fiery speech and feeling, I have to start right now. Reading an inspiring book and imagining a better version of yourself. Watching a video on social media, seeing others succeed, and thinking, if they can do it, I can too. At times like these, you feel like life is easy to change. You believe that if you just hold on to this feeling long enough, you will transform, and so, you start drawing up plans. From tomorrow, wake up at 5 a.m. Run 3 kilometers every day. Start working on that passion project. You write it all down with intense belief. But, just a few days later, everything starts to slide. The alarm rings, but you no longer feel that fire. The running workout today, maybe tomorrow. Learning English today, maybe leave it for the weekend. And that project, let's wait until there's more inspiration. The problem is this. Motivation is not durable. It is like a wave, it comes in strong, but it recedes just as fast. If you only know how to rely on motivation, you will forever be waiting for the next wave to continue acting. 1. Motivation is emotion, and emotions always change. You need to understand an important truth. Motivation is not an infinite source of energy. It is just a temporary emotional state. Today you are happy, the weather is nice, you are eager to exercise. Tomorrow it's cold and rainy. You just want to curl up in a blanket. Today work went well. You are ready to study in the evening. Tomorrow you have a frustrating experience. You want to drop everything and go to sleep. Human emotions fluctuate constantly, governed by weather, health, circumstances, and dozens of other factors. When emotions change, motivation changes, and when motivation disappears, you will find it hard to continue. That is why so many people start strong but quit early. Not because they are weak, but because they placed all their hope in something unstable. 2. Example. The January gym rush. Have you noticed that in January every year, the gym is always packed? Everyone is full of determination. This year I will change. But after just 1 month, the number of members showing up drops significantly. By March, the gym returns to being as empty as before. What happened? It's very simple. The initial motivation ran out, and discipline had not yet formed. People who maintain their workout habit year-round do so not because they are always full of excitement, but because they train even when they don't want to. They understand that health does not depend on the mood of the day, but on consistent repetition over a long period. 3. When motivation makes you more disappointed. Interestingly, if motivation is not used correctly, it can make you more disappointed in yourself. Why? Because when you are fired up, you set very high goals. You believe you can do it all. But when the emotion drops and you don't complete them, you start blaming yourself. I'm so weak. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Others can do it, why can't I? As a result, you don't just lose motivation, you lose belief in yourself. And this is the biggest trap of relying solely on motivation. 4. Motivation is the flame. Discipline is the stove. You can visualize it like this. Motivation is like a flame flaring up from a match. It is bright and warm immediately, but it will go out quickly if not fed. Discipline is a slow-burning stove. It isn't brilliant from the start, but if you maintain it, it radiates warmth consistently and steadily. The person relying on motivation has to constantly light new matches to keep the heat. The person with discipline only needs to add firewood regularly, and the warmth will always be there. Conclusion of Chapter 1. If you want to change your life, don't try to keep the fire of motivation burning forever, because that is impossible. Use motivation as an initial push, but to go the distance, you need something more solid, self-discipline. And for discipline to exist long-term, you need an even stronger element, commitment to yourself. Chapter 2. Self-discipline. The silent but most enduring companion. If motivation is the strong wind blowing you forward, self-discipline is the sturdy legs helping you take step after step. Even when the wind stops blowing, people with motivation may start faster, but people with discipline are the ones who cross the finish line. 1. Self-discipline sounds strict, but is actually freedom. When discipline is mentioned, many people immediately think of a rigid, harsh life, like a series of days obeying orders. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline is not imprisonment. Discipline is the path to freedom. Freedom from procrastination. Freedom from guilt for not doing what you know needs to be done. Freedom from the worry of, what if I quit halfway? When you have discipline, you don't have to wrestle with the question, should I do it today? You simply do it, because it is already a part of you. 2. Discipline is habitualizing your goals. Imagine a person who wants to write a book. If relying on motivation, they will write when they feel interested. Maybe write 10 pages one week, then write nothing for a whole month. If relying on discipline, they will write 1 page every day, regardless of whether they are busy, tired, or uninspired. Initially, writing every day might be a challenge, but after a few weeks, the brain starts receiving the signal, 8 p.m. is writing time. By then, writing is no longer a battle with laziness, but becomes a deeply ingrained habit. Discipline turns goals into small, repeated actions, and it is these small actions that truly change your life. 3. Discipline is more durable because it doesn't depend on emotions. Remember, your emotions change constantly, but discipline does not. People with discipline don't wait for positive emotions to act. They work even when tired, busy, or in a bad mood. This doesn't mean they are supermen who never get bored. They get bored just like you. The difference is they act despite the boredom. There is a great quote, motivation gets you started. Habit, discipline, keeps you going. And if you keep going long enough, you will see results. 4. Real-life example. The marathon runner. A marathon runner cannot rely solely on motivation. On the first day of training, you might be excited because you bought nice shoes or want to show off on social media. But when you have to run dozens of sessions, in the heat or cold rain, motivation will vanish. The person who finishes 42 kilometers is not the one who is always most excited, but the one who didn't skip training. Just like in life, success doesn't come from moments of burning with passion a few times, but from consistent steps day after day. 5. The golden formula. Discipline plus commitment. Discipline becomes even stronger when attached to commitment. Discipline is the habit. Commitment is the reason you maintain that habit. For example, someone who wants to lose weight because they want to look good might quit when it gets too tiring. But someone who wants to lose weight because they want to be healthy enough to play with their children every day will hold on longer. When you find a reason big enough, discipline is no longer a burden, but becomes a natural action. 6. Discipline is hard at first, but gets easier the more you do it. The good news is, discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. The first day you wake up early, you have to fight the bed. But if you maintain it for 30 days, waking up early becomes much less painful. By then, not doing it feels uncomfortable. This is why successful people look like they have extraordinary willpower. In reality, They have just been training their discipline muscle for years. Conclusion of Chapter 2. Self-discipline is not forcing yourself to live miserably, but choosing a lifestyle that helps you move closer to the person you want to become. Motivation may bring initial excitement, but discipline is the heartbeat that keeps the journey going. And for discipline to become unshakable, you need another crucial element: absolute commitment to yourself. Chapter 3. Commitment. The unbreakable promise to yourself. If discipline is the legs taking you forward one step at a time, then commitment is the lighthouse illuminating the entire journey. You can have discipline for a few days, a few weeks, but only with true commitment can you keep discipline for years. 1. Commitment. Not a verbal promise, but a spiritual contract. Many people confuse a promise with a commitment. A promise can change when circumstances change. Commitment is an internal decision. No matter what happens, I will do it. An Olympic athlete doesn't say, I will try to train. They say, I will train every day. No exceptions. True commitment isn't something you say for fun when excited. It is an invisible signed contract between you and yourself. 2. Commitment and discipline. A two-way relationship. Discipline is the daily action. Commitment is the reason you don't quit when discipline gets hard. When you lose motivation, commitment reminds you why you started. When you feel bored, commitment pulls you up. And when you maintain discipline long enough, you believe in your commitment even more. Like two gears, one turning makes the other turn. Discipline nurtures commitment, and commitment keeps discipline alive. 3. Strong commitment is always linked to a big enough why. Try to recall the goals you gave up on before. Was it mostly because the reason wasn't strong enough? Example: gym to look good. Right pointing arrow, easy to quit when tired. Gym to save my own life because the doctor warned me. Right pointing arrow, completely different. The more the reason is tied to deep emotions, the harder the commitment is to shake. Therefore, before starting any journey, ask, if I quit, what will I lose that I cannot accept losing? 4. The story of a mountain climber. Imagine a person climbing a mountain in a blizzard. If the goal is just to try and see, they will turn back when they see danger. But if there is something extremely important at the peak, for example, a letter containing information to save someone's life, they will continue climbing. Regardless of the difficulty, commitment is the same. When what you pursue is important enough, quitting is no longer an option. 5. 3 steps to build unbreakable commitment. 1. Write down your reason. Don't just think it. Write it on paper and put it somewhere visible. The more specific and emotional your reason, the more durable the commitment. 2. Create a starting ritual. Every time you start a disciplined action, have a small signal. Brew a cup of coffee, play a song, or recite a mantra. It helps the brain link the action with positive emotions. 3. Self-bind with external responsibility. Tell someone about your commitment, or set a penalty for violation. External supervision makes the spiritual contract harder to break. 6. Commitment is the power when motivation dies and discipline tires. There will be days you wake up and your discipline is weak. There will be times you feel like a lost person. It is in those moments that commitment saves you. It is not a feeling of excitement, but the belief that, I will do it, because I told myself I would. When you understand that breaking a commitment is breaking trust with yourself, you will take it more seriously than any promise to others. Conclusion of Chapter 3. Commitment is the strength of the heart. Discipline is the strength of the legs. A person with only discipline but lacking commitment will easily stop when tired. A person with only commitment but lacking discipline will always live in intentions without ever acting. Only when both go together can you go far and never turn back halfway. Chapter 4. Forging discipline and commitment even if you are easily discouraged. Do you find yourself in this group? Starting with high energy but fizzling out after a few days. Making extremely detailed plans but abandoning them halfway. Easily tempted by phones, social media, good food, or simply a soft bed. If you nodded to at least 2 of the signs above, congratulations, you belong to the easily discouraged group. But don't worry, this group is not hopeless. On the contrary, when you know how to train correctly, you will become even more resilient than people born with strong will. 1. Accept weakness instead of self-blame. The most common mistake of the easily discouraged is blaming themselves every time they quit. This is like falling down and then kicking yourself. Instead, accept that your brain is not yet used to discipline, and it needs time. Like a muscle, willpower only gets stronger when trained gradually. 2. Start extremely small. The grain of sand principle. Easily discouraged people often fall into the trap of going big from the start. For example, wanting to exercise, so setting a goal of 1 hour daily to too much to quit. Solution: start extremely small. Want to read books? 2 pages per day. Want to exercise? 5 minutes per day. Want to meditate? 1 minute per day. When the brain sees a goal so easy it cannot refuse, it will cooperate. Gradually, you raise the level. 3. Create rails. Instead of relying on emotions, easily discouraged people often wait for inspiration to act. But inspiration disappears as fast as the wind. You need a system, rails, so that even if your emotions drop, you keep moving. Fixed schedule, e.g., exercise immediately after brushing teeth in the morning. Fixed space, a corner of the desk only for reading, nothing else. Fixed time, 7 p.m. is the time to turn off the TV. Turn on the desk lamp. Open the book. When everything becomes a habit, you no longer have to battle with emotions every day. 4. Turn it into a game with yourself. The brain loves rewards. You can turn discipline into a game. Record the number of consecutive days you achieved it. Set a small reward when hitting milestones: 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. Compete with a friend. Whoever quits first buys coffee. Games make the journey less dry and increase the desire to win factor. 5. Block the emergency exits. Easily discouraged people are very good at finding reasons to rest. So, make quitting inconvenient. Want to snack? Don't buy them in advance. Want to scroll the web? Remove apps from the home screen. Want to skip training? Prepay for the class. The fewer emergency exits there are, the more you are forced to stay with the commitment. 6. Learn to forgive and return quickly even when you try hard. There will be times you miss a day. But don't let 1 day become 1 week, then 1 month. Golden rule: if you miss once, fine, but don't miss twice in a row. Forgive yourself, but return immediately. Conclusion of Chapter 4. Easily discouraged people don't lack ability, they just lack a suitable system and strategy. When you know how to start with small steps, create rails, turn it into a game, and block escape routes, you will realize you can absolutely maintain long-term discipline and commitment. And then, one day, others will look at you and be surprised. How can you be so persistent? Chapter 5: The Invisible Enemies Sabotaging Discipline and Commitment. When talking about building discipline and keeping commitments, many people think the biggest enemy is laziness. Actually, it's not. Laziness is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath it are invisible saboteurs. Things that silently erode your will every day without you noticing. If you don't recognize and handle them, they will quietly push you away from your goal. 1. Disguised procrastination. Have you ever found yourself preparing very carefully, but in the end, never actually starting? Wait until I have more free time. Wait until I buy enough equipment. Wait until I have inspiration. This type of procrastination is dangerous because it makes you think you are preparing. But actually, you are avoiding. Solution: ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can do right now? Then do it, even if imperfectly. 2. Environment full of temptations. Weak discipline isn't necessarily because you have weak will, but because you are in the wrong environment. Want to diet but the fridge is full of sweets. Want to read but the desk is piled with phone, laptop, TV on YouTube. Want to sleep early but the bed is right next to the charger. Solution: clear the temptations before building the habit. An environment that supports your goal helps you avoid having to battle with your mind too much. 3. The tomorrow syndrome. The brain loves to make promises to the future. I'll start tomorrow. It sounds harmless, but tomorrow often never comes. The reason is that tomorrow helps you avoid the uncomfortable feeling right now, but steals your future. Solution: every time you intend to say tomorrow, Change it to, right now. Just for 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes are often the start that helps you do much more. 4. Unrealistic expectations. One of the reasons you quit quickly is you set goals too far. Too big, too fast. Example. Never ran before but want to run 10 kilometers in the first week. When you don't achieve it, you get disappointed, lose motivation, and quit. Solution. Instead of asking how to reach the goal fastest, ask how to maintain this the longest. 5. Toxic comparison. You are exercising 15 minutes per day. See someone else exercising 2 hours per day. Feel you are too inferior. And quit. Comparison isn't wrong, but comparing yourself to someone 5 years ahead of you is like stabbing your own will. Solution. Only compare with yourself yesterday. Discipline is not a speed race, but a marathon of endurance. 6. Lacking a strong enough reason. You want to change but your reason is vague. Example. Want to learn English to be better. Better for what? You aren't clear. Commitment easily wobbles. A strong reason is what pulls you up in the morning even if it's raining and you have zero motivation left. Solution. Write down 3 truly important reasons why you must keep discipline. Read them again every time you want to quit. Conclusion of Chapter 5. These invisible enemies are not noisy, but they erode your will bit by bit. To keep discipline and commitment, you don't just need to train your will, but also clear the sight, clean up the underground sabotage factors inside and around you. When you defeat these enemies, you will find the journey of persistence becomes much lighter. Chapter 6. The 3-layer formula to turn discipline into a lifelong habit. Self-discipline is important, but if you rely only on willpower, you will quickly burn out. Try to recall a time you determined to do something: diet, exercise, learn a new skill, and in the first 1 to 2 weeks, you were very enthusiastic, but then one day, you got tired, busy, or lost interest, and it all fell into the void. The problem is that pure discipline based on willpower is like driving a car without power steering. Possible, but tiring quickly. The solution is to turn discipline into a habit, so it operates almost automatically, without needing you to mentally wrestle with yourself every day. I want to share with you the 3-layer formula, a system to turn any disciplined behavior into a sustainable habit, almost attached to your being. Layer 1. Build the foundation of meaning. If discipline is a house, the foundation is the reason you do it. Many people fail because they skip this layer, focusing only on how to do it without clearly defining why. How to build the foundation. Identify a strong enough why. Oh, don't choose vague reasons. I want to learn English to be better. Oh, be specific. I want to learn English so that in 6 months I can get a job with double the salary. Helping my family live better. Connect with deepest emotions. The reason shouldn't just be logic, but must touch emotions. The image of proud parents. Children studying in good schools. The feeling of financial freedom. Write it out and read it every morning. This is how to refuel the foundation. Avoiding erosion when facing difficulties. Layer 2. Create action rails when the foundation is solid. You need a system to act without thinking too much. Like a train running on rails, you don't have to steer. Just move forward steadily. How to create rails. Small but daily actions. 5 minutes of reading instead of 1 hour. 10 push-ups instead of 50. Important is continuous maintenance. Habit stacking. After brushing teeth to meditate for 2 minutes. After making coffee to write 5 journal sentences. New habits attached to old habits are easier to maintain. Reduce friction to the max. Want to exercise to put shoes right next to the bed. Want to drink more water to put a water bottle on the desk. Don't give the brain a chance to find an excuse to procrastinate. Layer 3. Lock it in with new identity. This is the layer that helps the habit become a part of who you are. You no longer try to exercise. You are a person who loves movement. You no longer force yourself to read. You are a person who loves learning. How to lock it in. Address yourself by the goal. Instead of, I am trying to eat healthy, to, I am a healthy eater. Act according to the new identity. Even if small. If you are a writer, then even when busy, you still write 1 sentence. Build a community with the same values. being near people who already live the identity you want. You will naturally behave like them. Example, applying the 3-layer formula. Suppose you want to maintain a running habit. Layer 1, foundation. Strong enough reason. Participating in a 10 kilometers run in 6 months. Donating to a cancer charity. Layer 2, rails. Run 5 minutes every morning after brushing teeth. Set out shoes and running clothes at the door. Layer 3, identity. You are a runner. Join a local running group. Post running photos online to reinforce identity. Conclusion of Chapter 6. Discipline is not about straining to endure forever. When you have a foundation of meaning, action rails, and a new identity, you will find yourself no longer forcing yourself. The habit will become a natural part of you, and that is when discipline is no longer a burden, but a lifestyle. Chapter 7, strategies to overcome the losing the spark phase. No one maintains 100% form forever. Even people with steel discipline will encounter times of boredom, fatigue, or wanting to do nothing. That feeling of losing the spark usually appears after 2 to 3 weeks or a few months when you start a new goal. Initially, everything is very exciting. You feel like you just found an endless energy source. But gradually, the initial excitement is replaced by boredom, pressure, or busyness. The good news is, losing the spark is not failure. It is just a signal that you need to change strategy. And I will share with you 5 strategies to not only overcome this phase but also return stronger. 1. Identify early signs of losing the spark before curing the illness. You need to know where you are sick. Some common signs. You procrastinate starting work, even though you used to do it immediately. You find excuses to skip a workout or study session. You feel the goal you are pursuing no longer has meaning. You compare yourself to others and lose spirit. Identifying it early helps you prevent losing the spark from turning into quitting. 2. Return to the root reason when you lose the spark. It is usually because you forgot why you started. Spend time sitting quietly and writing down. Why did I start this? What will happen if I quit? Who will benefit if I persevere? Example. If you are learning English, maybe the initial reason was to qualify for a dream job interview. But after studying for a few weeks, you only think about tiredness and discouragement. Reminding yourself of the reason will help refuel the mind. 3. Switch from high volume to micro action. One cause of losing the spark is setting standards too high and being unable to maintain them. Solution. Shrink the action to a level where you cannot make an excuse not to do it. Example. Instead of gym 1 hour to exercise 10 minutes at home. Instead of reading 30 pages to read 1 page. Instead of writing 1,000 words to write 100 words. The magic is that when you start a small action, interest will return and you might do more than expected. 4. Create new highlights. To break boredom, the brain likes novelty. If you do everything according to the exact same pattern for a long time, interest drops sharply. How to refresh. Change environment. Study at a cafe, park. Change approach. Listen to podcasts instead of reading books. Challenge yourself with mini goals, e.g. try planking 1 minute per day for 7 days. These small changes are like spices, making your spiritual meal tasty again. 5. Use community to keep the heat. Nothing fuels the fire better than having a companion. Join a group or find an accountability partner, someone who will remind, encourage, and sometimes give you a push when you want to quit. You can join Facebook, Zalo groups about your goal. Find a friend to practice study with. Share progress on social media to create public commitment. Conclusion of Chapter 7. Losing the spark is not the end. It is just a natural part of the discipline journey. The secret is not to completely avoid this feeling, because you can't, but to learn how to recognize and overcome it quickly. If you can return after losing the spark once, you will be stronger, more enduring, and have the belief that you can go to the end. Discipline is not just walking a straight line without stopping. Discipline is falling down, however many times, standing up, and continuing, and each time like that, you move closer to your best version. Chapter 8. The fail-proof formula to maintain commitment all year. Most people set goals at the beginning of the year with burning determination, and then By February or March, they quit. The cause is not that they are weak or lack ability, but because they don't have a fail-proof system. Believe me, motivation can fade, but a good system will pull you forward even when you no longer want to. And today, I will share the fail-proof formula 5 elements to help you keep commitments all year, or even a lifetime. 1. The too easy to skip principle. Many people fail because they start too big. Example: they have never run, but set a goal to run 5 kilometers every morning. After a few days, the body is tired. They quit completely. The principle here: start at a level so easy that you cannot make an excuse. Want to exercise? To 5 minutes every day. Want to read? To 1 page every night. Want to write? To 50 words every day. When you win these small steps, you build momentum and don't get overwhelmed. 2. Record and track progress. You cannot improve what you do not measure. Choose a simple way to track. Use an app, Habitica, Loop Habit Tracker. Use a paper calendar, mark completed days, or simply a piece of paper and a pen. Every small tick mark is a self-confirmation that you are on the right track. It creates a sense of achievement, making you not want to break the perfect streak. 3. Build an environmental switch. Human willpower is very limited, but the environment can be changed to support you. Design the environment so that right actions become easy, wrong actions become hard. Example: want to eat healthy? To put fruit on the table. Hide snacks in the cupboard. Want to exercise? To put workout gear right next to the bed. Want to read? To put books in a visible place. Turn off phone notifications when reading. A good environment is a silent teacher, pushing you forward. 4. Public commitment. When you only promise yourself, it's easy to overlook, but when you promise in front of others, you have added positive pressure to keep your word. Do this. Share goals on social media. Tell a close friend or family. Join a community challenge. Public commitment creates social responsibility, and you will be afraid of losing face if you quit. 5. Backup mechanism. When missing a beat. No one is perfect. You will have days you miss, but instead of quitting completely, apply the rule, never miss twice in a row. Example: you missed training today? To tomorrow you must train again, even if just for 5 minutes. This rule helps you avoid the domino effect, one miss leading to quitting forever. Conclusion of Chapter 8. Maintaining commitment is not about relying on steel will, but building a smart system. Remember, start so small you can't fail. Track to see progress. Design a supportive environment. Commit publicly for accountability. And always have a plan to return when you slip. When you have this system, you won't just maintain commitment for a year, but turn it into a long-term lifestyle, where discipline becomes instinct. Chapter 9. Self-reward properly so discipline isn't dry. When hearing self-discipline, many people imagine austere days. No parties, no rest, no entertainment, just work, work, and work. And precisely because of this thought, so many people quit halfway. In reality, discipline does not mean forcing yourself to live miserably. On the contrary, if you know how to combine self-reward skillfully, you will maintain commitment long-term while still finding life interesting. Consider self-reward like a blood vessel, nourishing discipline, helping you avoid becoming rigid, exhausted, and keeping a positive spirit. 1. Why reward yourself? The human brain operates on the motivation-reward principle. When you complete a task and get a reward, even small, the brain releases dopamine, a happy hormone, that makes you want to repeat that behavior. If you only force yourself to work without ever giving a reward, you are turning discipline into a series of dry tasks. Sooner or later, the brain will send a signal: forget it. This isn't fun. Let's quit. Self-reward helps you reinforce good habits, keep spirits high, create a positive association with disciplined action. 2. How to reward without breaking discipline. This is a very important point. Many people think self-reward means being allowed to let go completely. Example: after a week of healthy eating, they reward themselves with a 5,000 calorie buffet, and all the effort is considered lost. Golden rule: the reward must support or at least not destroy your progress. Example: You are exercising to reward yourself with a massage session or buy new sportswear. Instead of eating recklessly, you are saving money to reward yourself with a favorite cup of coffee. Instead of buying expensive unnecessary items, you are learning a language to reward by watching a movie in that language. 3. Material rewards and mental rewards. Material rewards are gifts you can touch, new clothes, books, accessories. Mental rewards are experiences or feelings, a day off, a walk, a picnic, or simply allowing yourself to sleep an extra hour. The great thing is that mental rewards often cost little but bring great effect because they touch emotions. Even simply praising yourself and recording achievements is already a reward. 4. The reward points system. To make self-rewarding disciplined, you can create a personal reward point system. Complete a daily task, plus 1 point. Complete a weekly goal, plus 5 points. Complete a monthly goal, plus 20 points. When you reach a certain number of points, you exchange them for a predetermined reward. This method gives you a sense of gamification, creating extra motivation while still controlling the frequency of rewards. 5. Self-reward doesn't mean finishing everything before getting a reward. Some people only allow themselves a reward when they achieve a massive accomplishment. The problem is, the road to a big goal is often long, and if you wait until the very end to reward yourself, you are likely to quit halfway. Instead, break achievements down into small milestones and reward yourself at each one. For example, wrote 5.000 words right pointing arrow reward, a movie night. Exercised for 10 days straight right pointing arrow reward, coffee with a best friend. Saved 1 million Vietnamese dongs right pointing arrow reward, a small item you like. 6. Beware of the reward trap. If the reward becomes an excuse to break discipline, it becomes counterproductive. Example: I'm tired today. Let's eat fried food, consider it a treat. If done too often, you are destroying your discipline. Solution: set clear limits and write down the criteria for rewards. Only when the criteria are met do you get the reward. Conclusion of Chapter 9. Discipline is not about banning yourself from all joy. On the contrary, if you know how to reward yourself intelligently, discipline becomes pleasant, even interesting. The right reward at the right time turns the training process into a rhythmic journey, moving forward while enjoying the ride. Remember, reward to reinforce, not to destroy. Combine material and mental rewards. Break down goals to reward more frequently. And always have clear rules for rewarding. When you do this, discipline will no longer be pressure, but a balanced and sustainable lifestyle. Chapter 10: How to overcome the days you don't want to do anything. Everyone has days like this. You open your eyes and feel absolutely zero energy. All plans, goals, and to-do lists become blurry. You just want to lie still, scroll through your phone, or do nothing at all. The problem is, self-discipline is not just for the days you are excited and full of energy. It matters most precisely on the days you don't want to do anything. 1. Accept that bad days are part of the game. Many people, when falling into a state of laziness, fatigue, or loss of motivation, start blaming themselves. Why am I so weak? I failed again. In reality, a bad day is normal. You are not a robot. And even the most disciplined people in the world have days when their spirits are down. The important thing is not to avoid bad days completely, but to know how to handle them when they happen. 2. The do at least one small thing principle. When you don't want to do anything, don't force yourself to complete everything like a normal day. Instead, choose the smallest task related to your goal and do it. For example, if you don't want to exercise today, right pointing arrow, just put on your shoes and walk for 5 minutes. If you don't want to write right pointing arrow, write 2 sentences. If you don't want to study right pointing arrow, watch one short video related to the subject. It sounds insignificant, but this is a powerful strategy. You don't let the habit chain break. Your brain still registers, I still did it today. This keeps the discipline wheel turning. 3. Change your environment immediately. Part of the reason you don't want to do anything is that your environment is draining your energy. Example: the room is too messy, the lighting is poor, or there are too many distractions around. Quick solution: Open the window to let light in. Tidy up your desk for 5 minutes. Go to a quiet cafe or library to change the atmosphere. Just changing the environment, you will be surprised to see energy return slightly. 4. Temporarily lower expectations. But don't quit completely. Bad days are not the time to fight at 100% capacity. If you try to do everything like on a good day, you will quickly burn out and hate discipline even more. Allow yourself to slow down, but maintain the connection with the goal. Just like lifting weights when tired to lower the weight, but still do the movement to the muscle is still maintained. 5. Use the 5-minute commitment when you really don't want to start. Tell yourself, just do it for 5 minutes. Then I can rest. This is a very effective psychological trick because it fools your brain into thinking it's just a small task. And usually, after starting, you will continue for another 10, 20, or even 60 minutes without realizing it. 6. Ask yourself, what is draining my energy? Sometimes, not wanting to do anything isn't laziness, but your body or mind is truly exhausted. At that moment, instead of forcing it, find the cause. Lack of sleep? Poor diet? Prolonged stress? Working too many days in a row? If the cause is true burnout, treat today as an active recovery day. Sleep enough. Take a walk, eat healthily, and limit phone usage. 7. Prevent a bad day from becoming a bad week. The most dangerous thing is allowing yourself to take 1 day off, then 2 days, then 1 week. This is why the smallest action on a bad day is important. It keeps the discipline string from snapping. As long as you do a little bit, you are still a person maintaining discipline, instead of a person who quit. Conclusion of Chapter 10. Days when you don't want to do anything are not the enemy of discipline. They are a test to see if you are truly committed. Discipline is not about being perfect always, but about always returning, no matter what state you are in. Remember, bad days are normal. Do at least one small thing to keep the habit loop. Change the environment to regain energy. Reduce the pace, but don't stop completely. Find the root cause and recover if needed. As long as you overcome these days, you will find yourself stronger, and your discipline will be more sustainable than ever. Chapter 11. Marathon Mindset instead of sprinting. When talking about success, most people think of speed. How to learn fastest, make money fastest, reach goals fastest. We live in an era where everything is wanted, right now. But with self-discipline, a sprinting mindset is almost certainly a recipe for failure. If you want to go the distance, you need to learn to think and act like a marathon runner. 1. The difference between sprint and marathon. Sprint. You pour all your energy into a short time. Run very fast. Reach maximum speed, but only maintain it for a few dozen seconds. Marathon. You keep a sustainable pace. Not too fast, not too slow, and maintain it for dozens of kilometers. In life, sprinting is like forcing yourself to work 16 hours per day, cutting sleep, skipping meals, chasing deadlines. Marathon is like maintaining 2 to 3 hours of deep work every day, consistently for many years. Sprinters often burn out before reaching the finish line. Marathon runners cross the finish line with a smile, and still have the strength to continue the game. 2. Why is the marathon mindset more sustainable? When you sprint toward personal goals, you easily fall into a loop. Start extremely hyped to work like crazy. Burn out to quit halfway. Blame yourself to lose spirit. Repeat whenever new inspiration hits. The marathon mindset is different. You determine from the start that this is a long journey. So you will save energy. Build small but durable habits. Accept slower progress to ensure you don't quit halfway. 3. How to apply the marathon mindset to self-discipline. A. Set moderate but long-term goals instead of read 100 pages a day. Try 10 pages a day, but maintain it all year. Instead of lose 10 kilograms in 1 month, set lose 1 kilogram per month, and maintain the lifestyle forever. B. Keep an energy safety zone. Never work until exhaustion. Because when exhausted, it takes days or weeks to recover. Work at 70 to 80% of max energy, so you are ready to continue tomorrow. C. Make the habit the goal, not the result. Good marathon runners don't just think about the finish line. they love every step of the run. Similarly, love the process of practicing discipline every day, rather than just looking at the final result. 4. The problem of short-term explosion. You can see many people starting projects, plans, or new habits very loudly. Register for the gym and train 2 hours a day to quit after 3 weeks. Write blog 5 posts per week to stop writing after 1 month. Learn a language 4 hours per day to lose motivation after 2 weeks. Common point? Overload from the start. They used a sprint strategy for a journey that requires a marathon. 5. Real-world examples of marathon mindset. Warren Buffett invested persistently for over 60 years. Profits come from compound interest, not get rich quick. Haruki Murakami writes 4 to 5 hours every day, keeping the habit for decades to publish over 20 novels. Eliud Kipchoge, world marathon champion. 100% of the speed is not important. 100% of the consistency is the key. 6. Self-discipline is like a muscle. If you go to the gym, you understand. Muscles grow thanks to consistent training, not reckless training. You can't go to the gym, train for 10 hours straight, then rest for a month and expect muscles to grow. Self-discipline is the same. It grows when you train a little every day and maintain it over a long period. 7. Psychological benefits of the marathon mindset. Less pressure. You don't need to run faster than everyone else. Just keep your pace. Enjoy the process. When not in a rush, you have time to feel the progress. Easy to maintain. A moderate plan is easier to turn into a habit. Conclusion of Chapter 11. The world always praises those who do it fast, succeed early. But in reality, most great achievements come from people who persevere like marathon runners. Self-discipline is the same. No need for maximum speed. Need maximum consistency. Because when you keep a steady pace, a little bit every day, even if you start slower, you will still surpass those who run fast but quit halfway. Chapter 12. The art of saying no to protect self-discipline. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You plan to study English for an hour every night, but friends invite you for coffee, and you agree. You plan to spend the morning writing a report, but a colleague asks for help for just 5 minutes, and then the whole morning is lost. Sound familiar? That's because you don't really know how to say no. 1. Why is saying no so hard? There are 3 main reasons why we find it hard to refuse. Fear of offending others. You want to be liked, so you accept invitations even when they break your plans. Fear of missing out, FOMO. The feeling that, if I don't join, I'll miss something interesting. Unclear priorities. When you don't know what is most important, you easily say yes to everything. When you can't say no, self-discipline erodes bit by bit, because your time and energy are always pulled in other directions. 2. Understand that saying no is not selfish. Many people mistakenly think refusing others is selfish. The truth is, saying no to others equals saying yes to yourself. You only have 24 hours a day. If you spend it on non-priorities, important things will be sacrificed. Remember this quote. Every time you say yes to one thing, you are saying no to dozens of other things. 3. The 90% Rule. Author Greg McKeown. Essentialism has a great rule. If an opportunity or invitation interests you less than 90%, treat it as a 0% and refuse. Because anything below the level of very worthwhile will take away energy from more important things. 4. How to practice the skill of saying no. A. Prepare refusal scripts in advance instead of saying, let me see. You can prepare phrases like, thank you, but I'm focusing on this project right now. Sounds appealing, but I can't take on more work at the moment. B. Delay the response when someone invites or asks. Don't answer immediately. Say, I need to check my calendar. Let me consider it, and I'll answer you later. This gives you time to consider, instead of saying yes reflexively. C. Start small. If you aren't used to refusing, practice by saying no to less important things first. Gradually, you will feel more comfortable refusing bigger things. 5. When should you say yes? Saying no doesn't mean refusing everything. You should still say yes if It fits your long-term goals. You have enough time and energy to do it without affecting other priorities. It brings mental value or important learning opportunities. 6. Self-discipline and the time protection circle. Imagine your time as a castle. And saying no is the defensive wall. If the wall is weak, anyone can walk in and take your resources. Conversely, if you protect your time by refusing unnecessary things, you will have more energy for what truly matters. 7. Real-world examples. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no." Warren Buffett. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. 8. How not to feel guilty when saying no. Understand your goals. When you know where you are heading, refusal becomes natural. Remember, you can't please everyone. Trying to please everyone is the fastest way to burnout. Set clear limits. If you only dedicate one evening per week to friends, keep that rule. Conclusion of Chapter 12. Self-discipline is not just working hard, it is also protecting your time and energy from unworthy things. Saying no doesn't make you a difficult person. It makes you a person who knows exactly what is most important. Remember, when you say no to the unnecessary, you are saying yes to the life you truly want. Chapter 13. Proper self-reward to maintain discipline. When talking about discipline, many people immediately think of strictness, constraints, or even forcing oneself into a mold. But if there is only strictness without joy, discipline will be like a voluntary prison, and eventually, you will break out of it. The solution is proper self-reward. 1. Why is self-reward important? The human brain is driven not only by responsibility but also by satisfaction. Every time you complete a goal and receive a reward, even a small one, the brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter that creates feelings of joy and excitement. If discipline is all had to do, without getting to enjoy, the brain will soon resist. Example: a person who goes to the gym regularly for 3 months but doesn't allow themselves rest or a favorite meal will be more likely to quit than someone who knows how to treat themselves to a cheat meal every week. 2. How to reward yourself effectively. A. Link rewards to specific achievements. Only reward when you complete the set goal. Example: completed 30 days of journaling. Right pointing arrow. Treat yourself to a new book. Trained consistently for 20 sessions. Right pointing arrow. Buy a new sportswear set. B. Keep rewards. Moderate rewards should create excitement but not break discipline. Example: if you save for 1 month, the reward shouldn't be spending all that money. C. Combine short-term and long-term rewards. Short-term, a good cup of coffee after finishing a hard task. Long-term, a vacation trip after achieving a big goal. 3. Beware of rewards that ruin efforts. There are rewards that look fun but pull you back to the starting line. Binge eating after losing weight. Overspending after saving. Binge watching movies all night after working hard. The principle is, the reward must reinforce the good habit, not destroy it. 4. Use rewards as bait. For discipline, you can turn rewards into motivation to continue. If you love coffee, tell yourself, only after finishing the report can I drink it. If you like playing games, let it be the reward after finishing homework. When the brain gets used to complete right pointing arrow reward, discipline will be easier to maintain. 5. Real-world examples. Serena Williams. After every big winning season, she allows herself to rest for a few weeks but still keeps light training habits to avoid losing momentum. Elon Musk. After major milestones of SpaceX or Tesla, he often organizes a small party for the team, both a reward and a spirit booster. Conclusion of Chapter 13. Discipline is not torture, it is the balance between effort and joy. Proper rewards are like refueling stations on a racetrack. They are not the destination, but they give you the energy to continue the journey. Remember, discipline helps you go far, rewards help you not to quit halfway. Conclusion. Discipline, the golden key to freedom. We have talked a lot about discipline, from building foundations, overcoming emotions, creating habits, saying no to temptations, to self-rewarding to maintain. But it all comes down to one simple truth: discipline is not chains. It is wings. It does not bind you, but helps liberate you from chaos and procrastination. It does not take away your freedom, but gives you true freedom because you master your time, your work, and yourself. Imagine two versions of you. One version always waits for motivation to start and is constantly disappointed when motivation disappears. One version acts regardless of whether emotions are high or low and takes steps toward the goal. I'm sure you know which version will win. So, don't wait for inspiration to act. Start with a small commitment today. Because motivation is a temporary emotion, but discipline is a lifelong choice. And when you have forged discipline, you will realize life gets lighter, not because it gets easier, but because you become stronger.